Do you think it would help if there was a UK-wide knife crime czar?
I heard Bernard, the former Commissioner Bernard Hogan-Howell this morning, and I think he's absolutely right. A grip does need to be got nationally on this increasing problem around violence. But I think we've got people in charge that should be doing this. It's the Home Secretary and the Prime Minister. We have a policing minister as well, and government departments. Yes, we need to get a grip, but I think the Home Secretary and the Prime Minister should be doing their job, getting a grip and making sure there is a national grip on this incredibly difficult problem.
And for the people who say the Mayor of London needs to get a grip?
The Mayor of London is doing all he can. He is leading from the front in tackling violence in London.
Isn't he on holiday at the moment?
He's not in the office at the moment. He's taken a short break, but I can tell you he's absolutely got a grip on what's going on in London and is in constant contact with myself, City Hall and the Commissioner. What he has done is he's invested in the Metropolitan Police. They're out there day in, day out through the Violent Crime Task Force, making arrests, taking weapons off the streets. But we also, and he understands that you can't arrest your way out of this problem. You have got to do the early intervention and prevention, and he's invested in that as well. There's 63,000 young people getting services in London because of the money that he's put into the programmes and projects, nearly 200 in London at the moment. So yes, he is getting a grip, but he's hamstrung by the national framework he's working in, and that's about the government cutting youth services, cutting mental health services, and frankly cutting police officers. In London, we're below 30,000 police officers at the moment.
Don't all the people who are being affected by knife crime, I understand the points you're making, and many people will agree, perhaps you're right in some or every regard, but for your answer to the question of what to do about knife crime, to be to blame the Conservatives and just to blame national government, don't we need more cooperation than that?
My answer isn't to try to shift blame. My answer is to be...
Well, that was what your answer was essentially about.
Is to say it how it is. The Mayor of London is absolutely doing everything he possibly can within his powers to tackle knife crime, investing in the police, investing in services for young people.
Don't we need something better than this party political stuff?
This isn't party political. This is, I'm telling you how it is. That is what he is doing.
Has he got nothing wrong on knife crime then?
The government has cut
police officers, areas where the Mayor could do better?
Services at the moment. I think we can all, nationally and locally, continue to work together, and we do work with the Home Office and we do work with the government on these issues. However, there's no getting away from the fact that what really will make a long-term difference is really good supportive services for young people, and what will make a short-term difference is the correct number of police officers out there on the street arresting those that are perpetrating the violence at the moment. And we don't have that in London because the government has cut the funding.
Asked on LBC this morning what the three key problems were, Bernard Hogan-Howe, the first thing he said was drugs, not knives, drugs. Would you support drug decriminalisation?
Bernard was not talking about drug decriminalisation. He was talking about the link. Bernard was talking about the link between drugs and violence, and there's the Home Office research shows that link, and we see it in London as well, and with the county lines. There is absolutely a link. Would you support
decriminalisation? Is it worth looking at?
What I support is making sure that we deal with the violence that is related to drugs, and that is what the Metropolitan Police is doing at the moment. The violence and the drugs, the street dealing and the violence that's coming out of the drugs market in London is a real problem, and it has been spreading across the country through county lines, and the Metropolitan Police are tackling this, and they are right to tackle this because of the real harm it is causing our communities and young people.
And I just wonder, in the light of everything you just said, and who could argue with that, whether drug decriminalisation would be worth looking at.
I think, the government's put a review into drugs policy at the moment, and I think that's right in terms of looking at what the link between drugs and violence is. The Metropolitan Police are absolutely tackling the drug dealing at the moment that's going on in the streets of London. We saw last week and the week before in Tower Hamlets some really serious raids arresting those drug dealers that are causing real problems in local neighbourhoods.
I just wonder why you won't give me an answer to the question. I'm not for a second suggesting that decriminalisation is going to be the answer to anything. It would almost inevitably cause more problems. However, why won't you give me a view on it?
Because I think there's not one simple solution to
I'm not saying it is.
Violence.
I'm asking you whether you think it would be worth considering drug decriminalisation.
What I think we should be doing is dealing with the problems that we have on the streets at the moment.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
A real problem around drugs and violence. The Metropolitan Police are right. They are out there tackling the problem as it stands at the moment. arresting drug dealers, arresting those that are grooming young people to send them out across the countries, and sometimes as far as Aberdeen, to deal drugs and to exploit them and abuse them. And my focus is on what's happening now and making sure we have the right funding, and we have the right policies and the right operational delivery, and that's what I'm focused on.
Would any of that be happening? Would any of these crimes be committed? Would any of these young people be dead if drugs were being sold in legally endorsed shops?
So drugs is one of the issues that is happening. You know,
it's the top issue, according to Bernard Hogan.
It is one of the issues that is causing a real problem in London and across the country. But we also know that there is a normalisation and desensitisation around violence. We also know from the Home Office research that the violence is connected to a lack of resources. A leaked report last year showed that.
It's very complicated, and we